Commission of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment and Sustainable Development presents World Food Day 2023 with a difference. On October 18th and 19th, 2023, the highly anticipated Grand Agricultural Exhibition will go on show at the Shore Park Food Hub. Look out for the new additions to this year's calendar of events. The Farmers Green Market in Tobago East at the Roxborough Sporting Complex on October 5th. Our very first Lamb Fest on October 8th at the Shore Park Food Hub. The Farmers Green Market Tobago West, October 10th at the Shore Park Food Hub, and a separate and grand horticulture show on November 7 at the Shore Park Food Hub. For more information, visit or call the division at 639-1966 extension 3535 or scan our Facebook and Instagram pages. World Food Day 2023. Water is life, water is food. Leave no one behind.
President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Her Excellency Christine Kangaloo, ORTT, made her first official visit to Tobago recently. We have all the highlights in this story. Have a look.
Her Excellency has officially arrived, yes, and she is now greeted by the presiding officer of the Tobago House of Assembly.
While you have had 6 outstanding predecessors, you, Your Excellency, have brought to the highest office in our country an instinctive, inherent feeling of care, concern, and empathy for young people and persons with disabilities, and you accentuated the urgent need to declare our steel pan the national instrument of Trinidad and Tobago.
The presiding officer, short while ago, wished that you will be the first president to sign an assembly bill into law. It is my sincerest wish, so much so in that my prayers this morning, I pray that you will be the first president to proclaim new constitutional arrangements that will afford the people of Tobago the autonomy it long desired.
Let me assure you that the matter of autonomy for Tobago is one that I regard as absolutely critical to the proper development of our country. And today, on September the 27th, 2023, let me say to the people of Tobago, in Tobago, and in this most esteemed forum, that, like the Chief Secretary, I too think it's about time for us to revive matters concerning the autonomy of Tobago.
Imagine ripping up 100 calendars. Imagine, after spending all those years on Earth, you still have a sharp mind and a tongue. Well, in this story, you'll meet Miss Lorna Lashley, who recently celebrated her 100th birthday, and she'll tell us the secret to long life. Crystal George has more.
There aren't special vitamins or medicine that will guarantee a longer life. Simply put,
my Lord, I'm a very religious person, and it's my Lord.
Meet centenarian Lorna Lashley, a very charismatic woman who is still very much full of life and vigor. And after celebrating 10 decades of memories, 12,000 months of happiness, 5,217 weeks of love, 36,525 days of wisdom, she is still eager for her long, fruitful life on this earth.
100 is strange. because you start thinking back, you know, from the time you were 5 and you started going to school and all the places you've been and where you've been and what you've done. You know, 100 years of life is just like another day in your life. You know, they make a lot of fuss about it, but it's another day in your life. I spend my day, turn on the TV, and I turn on to Trinity TV, and I see all the prayers coming up there. You know, if it's any information around in our world that's important, I listen.
This initiative falls under the purview of the Division of Community Development, Youth Development and Sport, as they continue to honor the centenarian on the island. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
There are 2 cottages here at Silk Cotton Cottages in Englishman's Bay, Yemaya and Oya. Now there's no better place to introduce this next story. The International Day of Peace was celebrated on September 21st. It's a day devoted to strengthening the ideals of peace, and Omadara Mills will tell us how Tobago celebrated the day.
At the Community Mediation Center, our goal is to engender a culture of peace throughout the island. If we have to do that, then we have to start at home, school, church, play, and at the workplace. So this morning, since it's International Day of Peace, 21st of September, we decided that we are going to use the theme, which is Action for Peace, and we are going to create a peace mural by individuals putting their handprints together. And if you notice, some persons would have even done high fives and created a different color. And it just shows that we are different in every way, but we can still coexist. When it's on display, persons who would have participated would be reminded that this was my handprint. And some persons may even look, where did I sign again? And they would look to see where their handprints were, and they would be reminded that I committed to acting for peace. And if we could have that engraved in persons' mind and hearts, then we are on our way to a peaceful society.
When I heard of the initiative, I thought it was very important for us to recognize the day. It's a day that a lot of people are not aware of, so I thought that was very important. And as part of the Rotary Club of Tobago as well, that's something that we really advocate for, so I definitely wanted to participate. Peace, as I would say, is definitely something that we need. You know, we need to have the tools in terms of with regards to mediation, because they play a pivotal part in community development, in resolving issues, in conflict management. I think a lot of people aren't aware of the facilities available to them. So I definitely think awareness was key. So it definitely did what it needed to do today.
We thought it pertinent that we make our presence felt and support the initiative, because you know what is happening globally with the Russian-Ukraine incident, I will put it that way. Further to that, I would like to say, even within our own communities, you see this phenomenon with gangs warring and etc. So if this is our first step towards trying to resolve that, I would say yes. I understand that the Community Mediation Center has proceeded to engage schools. So I think that's a good place to start with respect to our peace effort.
So the 2 other locations would be Speyside Secondary School and Signal Hill Secondary School. They would have used the dove, which symbolizes peace and freedom. Both schools have the dove displayed, and it would be they did some huge murals. What we are promoting is, when you see this, you would remember what it means. Also, they're going to use it for an era where they can resolve conflicts and have healthy discussions.
Hello, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to Silk Cotton Cottages. It is my home, my haven, and my paradise, and I'm absolutely excited to share it with you. It is tucked away deep in the rainforest. It's a bird haven's paradise, and we would love for you to venture up here. We have an awesome outdoor space with a gorgeous pool, luxurious setting. You have your sunken fire pit, your jacuzzi, gazebo. You even have a hot tub that's floating. You can do your moonlight baths and anything your heart desire. We have our cottages, which are to the back, with our outdoor kitchen. You can grill, you can cook up a storm, or you can even have a private chef catered for you. Our cottages are luxurious. You can delve into our luxury linens. You can experience every plush and pleasure you desire. However, we're making you know you are in the rainforest, so you step out because we have your outside in and your inside out. You're going to step out and you're going to bathe in an outdoor bath. You're going to use all the facilities and you're going to be one with nature. We are going to make sure we have all your needs catered. In our glorious boutique here, you would get any toiletries you need or you forgot to pack, which I forgot in fact to mention that is provided with our rates here. You can get your swimwear, your beachwear, your accessories. You can get anything for your aesthetics. Besides the aesthetics we've provided for your soul, you are here to also indulge your soul. And that's our motto here at Flames. Flames cater for all your organic, healthy needs. We have artisan luxury handmade candles, pure, absolutely everything you need, crystal healing, energy healing, herbal healing, you have it here. We are catering for your personal empowerment, your spiritual development, your physical needs, and your holistic being. Welcome, and I hope you stay with us for a while.
So hospitality is on 100% at Silk Cotton Cottages in Englishman's Bay. Now, in this next story, you'll see that it's a beautiful gesture to always say thanks. The organizers of the Commonwealth Youth Games 2023 recently did just that at an appreciation ceremony for the Tobago volunteers. Ryan McCool has this story. Take a look.
All the volunteers, thank you from the bottom of our hearts for that we just showed the world what we can do and what we're capable of. And I want you to remember that. Don't forget that you can step up again, because there's going to be a beach games, there's going to be beach volleyball again, there's going to be something else happening, there's going to be netball, there's going to be something always happening.
Not only did the volunteers help in organizing and the management of the games, but also showing all these 71 countries the spirit of Trinidad and Tobago. And we are really, really thankful for what you have done.
To execute this project, we engaged professionals and the most professional team of volunteers ever. As the task force chairman, executive chairman, king, and boss of all I survey, I have the right to give out my own awards.
Your service for the CYG is already recorded in your volunteer record card that you will receive tonight. I encourage you to complete your registration when it is publicly advertised by coming to the office, where you will confirm your details and receive a unique volunteer number. This is a sure sign that we are serious about making this program a part of the legacy of the CYG 2023.
The Canaan Bonaccord Crown Point community recently hosted the Lunar Games. It was hosted to encourage camaraderie amongst residents. Ryan McCool was there and he has the scoop in this story. Enjoy!
We're here at the Canaan Bonaccord Recreational Ground and we just saw the teams dancing past. It's the first ever Lunar Games being put on by the Canaan Bonaccord Crown Point Community Council. It's for the long Republic Day weekend and we're just going to have a lot of fun and interview some of the organizers to find out more about this first ever community event dubbed the Lunar Games.
It's a team event which includes persons from within the community, or I should say groups from within the community. So we invited them to be a part of the games. We just wanted the games to be like a fun evening where all the people in the Canaan Bonaccord Crown Point space could come out, see each other faces that they haven't seen in a long while and just have some fun. What I'm hoping out of this is that we as a community will, first of all, support each other, because the village council needs support from the persons within the community.
Over a number of years, Canaan Bonaccord has been a very strong sporting community because we here at the grounds where Dwight Young made his name. We have Asha James from this community as well. We have character medalists and so on here. So what we really trying to do is to bring back that level of sportingness. Bonaccord School was a dominant sporting school in its days, and we want to begin to get back that energy among our people, both old and young, because we have some old stars as well here. Currently we have a very active Facebook page, so it's the Canaan Bonaccord Crown Point Community Council. We are CBC_Community Council on Instagram. So those are our two main modes of contact now. And you see all the contact numbers there for the executive.
It was a hard race. We start off a little sober just to give people a little hope. And we just take it away. Just have to put your children in front to beat them. Yeah, so now we finish. We have about 3 races ahead and now finish. Stay tuned. Real entertainment.
It's been a lot of fun here at the Lunar Games, here at the Canaan Bonaccord Recreational Ground, and the community definitely knows how to have fun. We were even included in one of the public events, a little eating race, a lot of novelty events. It's a really nice, wonderful time and way to beat the heat wave. The Lunar Games, evening, games, sports, fun, you can't go wrong. It's Tobago. So from Kevin Clark and myself, Ryan McCool, you've been watching Let's Talk Tobago.
Please, Emporia Limited.
And that's how we bring this week's edition of Let's Talk Tobago to a close. Thank you so much for joining us at Silk Cotton Cottages in Englishman's Bay. For more information, you can contact 780-2222. I'm Davia Chambers. On behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, you have a safe, enjoyable, and productive week. Take care until we see you again next week.
one thing we hoping and praying for see is bringing back the relationship between Watson and Farley. I feel it, and I'm sorry it hurt. As Christians who were brought up in the same religion, use the example of Jesus and tell each other your sins were forgiven. Beat your drum, Mr. Drummer.
I know the test that tests me, and I could either make it or break it, you know what I mean? I could climb straight up the ladder, or I could slide right down the sleeve.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Tobago Updates Morning Show. Indeed, it is a beautiful morning, and we're at the start of a new month. It's Monday, the 2nd of October, 2023. As we continue to give God thanks for life, I am Julian Skeet.
And I am Adana Kumbi. It is indeed a good day to give God thanks and praise for being in the land of the living. Happy Monday morning to you guys, and thank you for joining us here on the morning show on Tobago Updates.
It's that kind of start to a new week, a new month, and then you say to yourself, oh my gosh, it's Tobago Carnival.
That's right.
And prior to having Tobago Carnival, we would have said it's almost Christmas.
That's right. That's right. Of course. You know, the year is rapidly running down. But, you know, as you said, we give God thanks and praise for life. And there's so many things to look forward to, especially in this week, as today is Budget Day in Trinidad and Tobago.
A big day for us in Trinidad and Tobago, and more importantly, wanting to see things move in that direction. If you're sitting and living in Tobago, or depending on the sector that you're in, you want to know how you're going to be benefiting from this budget package. But we chat a little bit more about that a little later on. At this point, we head straight on over to news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Thank you, Julian. I am Candice Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Monday, 2nd October 2023. Anticipation is building for the reading of the national budget this afternoon. Finance Minister Colm Imbert will deliver his 9th budget presentation in Parliament, starting at 1 p.m. Among the items expected in the budget is a change to the minimum wage. It is also expected that the budget might be less than the previous year due to a decrease in revenue from the energy sector. Meanwhile, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine is hoping that the THA will be granted 5% of the national budget instead of a percentage near the minimum allotment of 4.03%. The THA has requested $4.54 billion from the central government. In the previous fiscal year, the THA requested $3.97 billion, but only received $2.5 billion, representing 4.3% of the national budget. And now to some news of crime. Tobago witnessed its 10th murder over the weekend. The latest victim is from Canaan Feeder Road, identified as Rhiann Henry, also known as Lucy. According to police reports, the 39-year-old Henry went to her girlfriend's home in Gaskin Bay Road around 9 p.m. on Saturday. Another woman was present with the girlfriend, and an altercation ensued. Henry was reportedly stabbed several times. She was taken to the Scarborough General Hospital, where she succumbed to her injuries. And finally, the Ministry of Works and Transport has issued a warning to drivers who have unpaid and uncontested traffic tickets from November 2021 to December 2022. Failure to address these tickets may result in administrative sanctions under the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Amendment Act. Drivers are asked to check with the ministry's website to see if their names are on the list and to take action promptly. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds.
Tobago, after freeness is more speed and better TV. Get a free Samsung smartphone and free installation, plus 200 megabits per second, Paramount Plus, and more for only $299 with a select 200 plan from Flow. Visit online at discoverflow.co today.
Yes, good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. And at this point, we're heading straight on into our birthday shout-out, sponsored by KFC.
This is your birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
And celebrating a birthday today, we have Anne Pierre. Happy birthday to you, Anne Pierre, coming to you from all of us here at Tobago Updates. We do pray and hope that you have a wonderful day today, as beautiful as you are.
And the birthday shout out goes out to Elizabeth Williams within the media industry, friend and colleague out there. We want to wish you a happy birthday and indeed God's continued blessings.
Next, we have Miss Jamila Nichols. Happy birthday to you. We do hope and pray that you have an excellent day today, that you enjoy love and friendship, and that you enjoy the blessings of God upon your life.
Yes, Harmony Bruce, it's your day. Wishing you a happy birthday, coming from the entire Tobago Updates family.
And we have Miss Shanice Kirk. It is your birthday today, and we wish you a very, very happy birthday and God's richest blessings upon your life.
On screen, Shiva Alexander. Wishing you a happy birthday, Shiva, coming from the entire Tobago Updates family.
And bringing up the birthdays, we have Damian Stewart, known to many by DJ Crush. Happy birthday to you. We hope that you have an excellent day today, a beautiful week, and a year full of blessings and, love. Right? So happy birthday.
And I got to pause on this one. It must be a dream. It must be a dream.
That's right.
Fantastic event. Yes. Kudos and commendations going out there to Mighty Crush. Impressive indeed. And even when people thought, all right, I was there last year, excellent, it was good, I had a great time, right down to until I exited Shaw Park and realized how hot the sun was. That we were still having a good time. And this year, again, no disappointment, certainly really delivering. Excellent indeed. Commendations to you, Mighty Crush. That's an excellent way for me to be able, being in the entertainment industry, for him to celebrate his birthday. Excellent delivery once again. Dream the event that got this month kickstart for October Carnival 2023.
Birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
From the experts that created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
Yes, good morning and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show. Adana, who do we have on the rundown this morning?
Well, of course, as we mentioned, it's budget day, so we have to have that conversation. So we'll be speaking with former Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Mariano Brown, as we speak about the expectations for Budget Day 2023. We are also going to speak with Rodil Clark, Superintendent of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, as he brings his regular update, and also speaking about protecting our children. And of course, we round the interviews with Ashley Benjamin, educational psychologist and founder of Blossoming Minds Educational Institute, as we celebrate or acknowledge Dyslexic Awareness Month.
All right, excellent. So we look forward to the lineup here this morning on the Tobago Updates morning show. At this point, viewers, we head on into Tobago in Focus.
The Division of Education, Research and Technology's Student Support Services provides a range of services all geared at the holistic development of all children, including those who require special education services. School psychologist Marian Kent dispelled the notion that special education is a place. Rather, it is about encouraging children to embrace themselves.
Special education is a range of services that's afforded to individuals or students who struggle academically, behaviorally, emotionally, socially, in fitting in and being able to perform with the reading, the math, even achieving goals.
Assistant Education Coordinator Susan Grant explained that a child with special needs or one requiring special education services are not limited to academic shortcomings. It also includes children who are creative or exceptional.
Special needs is not only what we see or the obvious. We have to talk about those who are the exception, who are brilliant and are moving ahead of our mainstream curriculum, and those who, because of circumstances, may end up needing specialized services.
Providing the best services for our children is the department's top priority and often requires collaboration with other divisions and agencies. However, the most important partnership is with the family. Ms. Kent appealed to parents and guardians to support the work of the department by becoming advocates for their children. The Division of Education, Research and Development's Student Support Services provides various services to students from early childhood to secondary school.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back. We're heading straight on in with our first guest. She'll be joining us online now, Mariano Brown, former Minister of Finance here in the government of Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Yes, good morning and welcome indeed. As we get the conversation started this morning, well, certainly today is Budget Day, and I'm thinking naturally in your sector, in your industry, you've sat, in the pressures of preparation for a day like today. As we get the conversation started, it's 2023, and I'm probably going to dive right ahead in anticipation. Are we looking forward to some goodies in this year's budget?
Well, I think the minister always has to try very hard to find something to say positive and to help the country from that perspective. So the answer is he probably will. But there are some stark realities that we have to face. And the realities that we have to face are that the economy hasn't been growing at the rate we need to grow it at. That's the first point. And the second point is that the dynamo of the economy, the energy sector, has been in declining production mode. I think that's the important thing, and it's also affected, of course, your foreign exchange earnings by definition, and your tax take that comes from that particular sector. Prices in the petrochemical sector have fallen, and to some extent in the natural gas sector as well. So as much as we talk about increases or looking at the new increase in the price of oil, we don't know whether that's going to be temporary or permanent. As at the mid-year budget review, the Minister of Finance was saying that those who were critics didn't know that the actual realized prices were particularly high. And the answer to that is when you measure the realized prices that he gave and you compare them to the budget prices, where we're talking about a 30 to 40% decline in the rate of those prices. So the minister has a difficult perspective. He's already accepted, and I think that it's generally accepted that this is going to be a budget. The point is that budget deficits cannot continue indefinitely. And I think that's the issue. When do we stop? We've had deficit budgets for literally 20 out of the last 23 years. And that's one of the reasons why your borrowing rate has been going up. What has been that says, and your debt to GDP ratio has gone up. So what that says is that you can't continue because you're nearing the end of your grace period where that is concerned. If you look at it from Trinidad and Tobago's credit rating, we are at the last rung of investment grade rating. Last rung means that after that, you're in junk status, right? Risk areas. So there's not a lot of room here So what we have to look at is really how he's going to manage his expenditure. I don't think that there are many revenue possibilities for him. So that the only ease that could come from the public or come to the public would be the question of what are the expenditure changes that he's going to make.
Right, and what do you project the expenditure changes to be, or what do you suggest or recommend it to be? Because, of course, as you said, we can't remain in a deficit for so long and continue in this vein.
Well, I mean, the things are there. The signals have come, and you've seen it. We know, for example, he doesn't have to do anything with property tax. All he has to do is to implement it. But if he implements property tax, which generates some additional revenue, which he can use to pay off the administration of land and the various other things that would normally finance, he doesn't have to touch, for example, the WASA rate, because the WASA rate is linked to property taxes. So if property taxes go up, WASA rate goes up too. That's bound to happen. Right? We know that there have been negotiations with regard to TNTech. That shouldn't fall within the context of a budget speech, and it ought not to. But we know that that's what's on the horizon, increased rates. So what else can take place? Well, how do we make government more efficient? How do we spend more efficiently? And we have to remember, government is under pressure too, you know. In the same way that John Q. Public complains about inflation, well, the Minister of Finance is in exactly the same position. Inflation affects him and affects the country's, or if you want, the budgetary perspective as well. Anything that I'm doing this year will cost me more than it cost last year. So even if I'm spending more money, I'm spending more money to stay in the same place. We all have that problem. So that the only way that you can manage that is that you have to be sharper with regard to what you're going to spend on. So I think the critical issue for me, right, is what are the expenditure priorities and how are we going to manage that? Remember as well, when you build new hospitals or you build new buildings and you open them up, they have to be maintained. And that actually pushes up government expenditure in areas in which we would not normally see or expect. Those are not normal items that just show up and you can say that government spend X amount of maintenance and so on. But at the same token, it does mean that government has to spend more money in terms of maintenance. Bottom line.
We saw the recent transportation challenges existing here in Tobago, and at this point we're speaking in terms of, we're looking at transportation and the ferry, particularly Port Authority. Minister Sinanan came across and there were meetings held in terms of projections. Do you think we can look forward today to hearing the finance minister speaking to that issue about procuring an additional cargo vessel in an effort to be able to ease and to really try to rectify some of those major challenges when it comes to getting goods to the island?
Well, here's what I expect. I don't expect either the sea bridge or the air bridge to be affected negatively by what's in the budget speech. Politically, that would be a loss. So I don't think that's going to happen. So yes, one could reasonably expect that some more money will be spent with regard to transportation. But again, the issue is not so much spending more money on transportation. The issue is efficiency. The answer is if we have to have a cargo star, then by definition, you have to have a replacement. You have to have alternative support, if you will, replacements in position. If we haven't had them in the past, you have to have them now, and you have to maintain them. The issue is maintenance. Part of the difficulty with our budgets is that we buy things, but we don't spend money maintaining them. Some examples. We bought new Coast Guard vessels, but they tend to be parked up rather than on the water where they're supposed to be doing the work that they are required to do to protect your borders. We had helicopters. We had one helicopter sit down in a hangar for 5 years because we couldn't sort out the licensing arrangement, and we had to go to court with regard to whether we should pay that, whether we should have bought the helicopter, because we had to pay the same amount of money to basically keep it there doing nothing for 5 years. All right, but those are the examples of inefficiency that you really have to cut out.
All right. So What I want to get from you specifically, I know you indicated that you won't see any responses that would negatively affect the transportation sector. But more importantly, if there are no responses at all, there are some who will feel that it is a negative impact, because we look at the realities of Cal and we know that there has to be further projections and even considerations if the system is going to improve on the air bridge any at all. I think what the minister alluded to from my information is that we can look forward to another cargo vessel. Do you see them following through on those in this budget, or is it that you'd probably wait until 2024, just before the election year? What do you anticipate?
There are two issues. And the first issue is to ask whether the sea bridge and the air bridge is meeting its requirement. I think you'll find the answer to that is generally yes. Now, the second issue is, should we have backup, or should we have expandable capacity to cater for what one would consider as peak capacity? For example, should you have more planes flying the Tobago route in time for Carnival? That's the point. I think that's a critical issue. And the answer to that is that can happen, but it can't happen on the same price. Because every time you increase your service delivery to Tobago at the current prices, you increase your losses. Right? So I don't see that taking place. There are peak period demands. And so peak period demands, for example, and that's what happens in the airline industry generally. If, for example, it's holiday period and everybody wants to fly, prices change. I think everybody would be looking on at what has taken place over the last year after COVID. The prices of airline tickets are approximately 30 to 40% more than they were last year or before COVID. And that's because demand has gone up. Now, you can't add capacity on what you call transportation routes just like that overnight. It has to be planned. And you have to plan capacity utilization on the basis of what demand is going to be. Now, the issue with the Tobago routes is not that there isn't adequate transport. The issue with the Tobago routes is there isn't adequate transport at peak periods, because everybody wants to go there. You can add capacity, but if you add capacity, i.e. you buy a new boat or you buy some more planes and you put it on the route, well, what happens for the rest of the time? So the argument is not about that the capacity for the Tobago route is inadequate. It is inadequate at certain peak periods. Now, you cannot have it. If you want to increase the capacity to cater for those peak periods, then you also have to have some market adjustment with regard to prices. Now, those are some issues that we have to face. If, for example, the minister doesn't do anything with it, and I don't expect him to do anything with it, quite frankly, right, because there is adequate transportation arrangements in position. Right? The point is you have to maintain the boats, and you have to maintain the boats in a serviceable manner. And that means that sometimes you have to come off the route and you have to have replacements which take them on. And that is what I think has failed to happen in this particular instance. So I think we have to have a balanced view in terms of how this happens. And that would be my 2 cents on that matter.
Just before we close this morning's interview, your quick feedback with regards to measures in terms of improving the foreign exchange situation in Trinidad and Tobago at the moment. Can the minister, or is the minister expected to speak to those measures?
Well, I expect him to speak to it. I don't know what he's going to do. He has complained in the past about profit shifting and tax shifting, and that is taking place at the level of the energy sector. In particular, I think he focused on the LNG side of the business. Well, that's a function of negotiation and a function of contracts. And the government has been adequately involved in that at the level of gas contracts. So you have to change your negotiating structure, but you're not going to be able to do it immediately. And I know that their stance has been more aggressive. So you will have to adjust the tax legislation to be able to do so in a fashion which gets more from less, but at the same token doesn't crush the sector. Because we have to recognize that we depend on foreign direct investment in the energy sector. Trinidad and Tobago has not developed the capacity to explore or to invest on its own. Those are realities.
All right. Thank you very much there. Very, very interesting indeed. So we all remain quite hope for. I won't even go to the point of the going beyond the minimum for Tobago allocation, but we don't have enough time.
That's not going to happen. It's not
You,
going to happen.
you expect it to remain just as it has been for some time?
Exactly as it is.
All
No
right.
change.
We want to say thank you very much, Mariano Brown, former Minister of Finance, for joining us here on the Tobago Updates morning show. Viewers, and we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Tobago now has its very own carnival. She like loud music and platinum
touch. MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash and transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Our national borders, our first step to security, but a possible access point for guns, drugs, crime. If it does not look right, do the right thing. Call Crime Stoppers anonymously. 800-8477. Report possible border crime.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to the Tobago Updates morning show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. We just at about 7:32 a.m. This morning, and joining us on set, we have Rodel Kirk, Superintendent of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and we're speaking about updates from the TTPS, and we're also speaking to this morning about protecting our children. Good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning, Julian. Good morning to your viewers and listeners.
All right. So we're going to start off in terms of your updates. People are at a point where they're beginning to get very concerned, again, in relation to, you're hearing about a number of incidents happening across the country, in fact, but more specifically in Tobago, where you always hear the person who has lived here long enough or is old enough would tell you there was a time when Tobago didn't even have to worry about things like that. So we want to get a general sense from you, updates in relation to the progress we're treating with some of these outstanding matters.
Well, what I want the public to know, the police are working relentlessly to bring all these issues, to a point where, the concerns and the fear of crime is being minimized. I know you are making reference to the latest incidents where a person was killed. It's always saddens me when situations like that occur. I want to take this opportunity to extend my deepest and sincerest condolences to the family of the deceased. However, what the information the police has is that around 9 p.m. on Saturday, there was an altercation between two individuals. One, it resulted in one of them being stabbed with a sharp object. She was conveyed to the Scarborough General Hospital, where she later succumbed to her injuries. A female suspect is now in police custody, and the police are working assiduously to, get all the details as to the circumstances surrounding this matter. I know the public has some concerns, but rest assured, the police is doing all that we can in order to bring these matters, to a close.
But you know what tends to happen? This is probably this is what, 9th or 10th murder for the year. What can you say in relation to speaking to even the ones that have existed before in 2023 and being able to make progress in such a manner to put the families at ease, so to speak, and to attempt to bring some kind of closure to these matters? And to reassure the public that indeed it's not that we have persons on the loose out there continuing to, to wreak havoc on the society.
The thing about it, a murder investigation is a very intricate investigation. It involves a lot of things that the officers needs to do. And you have to get it right the first time. As we will say, I am asking the public really to be patient with us, because we don't want to give away accuracy for speed. I know that the Homicide Bureau and the persons involved in investigating these incidents, they are working on all the leads, on several leads. I know some of the matters are close to solving. But again, every time you are working hard on a couple, something happens which requires their attention. And with all the challenges, they still come out and give it their best. So I want the public to be rest assured that the incidents which occurred in the past are not buried, right? The police are still working on them, and I know in the near future you'll get the positive results coming out of some of these incidents.
All right, we're heading in what is expected to be once again a very active period on the island. The month of October, and it has already started. We have a number of visitors coming to the island. In fact, I've been on that Crown Point, the western side of the island, and we're already seeing evidence in terms of the weekend flow. Family and friends and persons visiting for what is the heightened activity in Tobago. What can you say to us in terms of that line of preparation?
Well, what we have done so far is reach out to the stakeholders involved, the promoters, the organizers of some of these events. And we are in dialogue to come up with the best way in how to treat with it to ensure that persons attending are safe. Those meetings continue as we speak. I know the Carnival is coming up as well. And usually what we have already done as a proactive measure, we reached out to our counterparts in Trinidad for additional support. It happens last year where we had one of the safest Carnival on the island for the October period. And it continues that we will source our resources from Trinidad to augment our present resources in Tobago to treat with all those issues. We also have the Blue Food event coming up, and you know that is well attended. Yes, we have noticed the trend with the persons coming on the island, and it is our mandate to keep every space safe within the island. So as a proactive measure, we reach out to our counterparts who will be here throughout for the next coming weeks. You will see the difference in terms of police presence on the roadway.
All right. In terms of policing, one of the things we've noted as a population with concern, policing should not just be about that kind of aggressive approach. And sometimes we face that challenge on the island. How can the TTPS treat with something like this? And I make the direct reference to when there might be additional forces or support brought across to Tobago for these events, probably not accustomed functioning in the Tobago space. And the approach to policing, sometimes we can easily make the distinction with somebody who has never operated in the Tobago space. Very harsh, very rash. Is that intentional, or is it a case that those are some exceptions in the mix which the TTPS are working on? I'm talking about basic. You have a major event happening in an area, there's some change in traffic restrictions, and a man that tells you this way versus the man that is shouting at you as if you should know that these are some of the changes that is in place coming from, again, representing the Toronto Tobago Police Service.
Well, to answer your question, I know sometimes incidents like these occur, but we are all human beings, and some of us have different personalities. We are all trained in a particular way, and sometimes it's just the way the message gets over. But it's nothing intentional in terms of bringing people to intimidate the members of the public. No. You see, safety on the island is of paramount importance. And there are sometimes, that level of interaction doesn't go the way in which it's supposed to be. And I must apologize for that because, sometimes, as I say, personality issues involved that some people treat with issues differently from others. But it's not the norm, it's not the order of the day. We try to actually have that level of interaction where the public could feel comfortable relating to us. And, sometimes, as I say, it goes left, but, rest assured that that is not the order of the day. We will continue to interact and communicate because the public is one of our greatest stakeholders. Those are the persons who we serve. So, we have to be guided by our, training and so on. Sometimes there will be few that will go, but, I just want to apologize for that. But at the same time, we always exercise our duties with the highest level of professionalism.
All right. We've just seen the start of just about a month in terms of the new school term. Recommendations on the outside, they are reminders rather to our responsibility as parents and guardians and those who have a overall charged with a child as part of your responsibility.
Right. Again, and this is why I'm here really. The Children Act, Chapter 4601 would have outlined certain offenses, certain responsibilities that persons in authority, such as guardians, parents, and so on, are supposed to follow. Now, we have noticed that in the recent past, there has been some incidents occurred against children. We have children drowned in, we have children being burned. Not blaming anybody directly. Accidents do happen. But when you're dealing with minor children, especially those of tender age, we are asking parents to be more vigilant in terms of how the level of care they exercise towards the children. We are also asking, in terms of the carnival and so on coming up, for parents not to leave minor children in the care of other minor children. Make sure you have a responsible adult that could take care of your child while you are absent from home. Because if it is that something goes wrong, the law would take its course in terms of holding you accountable for whatever harm is brought against the children if they are left unattended or left not in the care of somebody who is capable of effecting that level of care. So I am asking, reaching out to the public so that parents could, take up their responsibility and try to, as far as possible, let us not see any incidents occurring against children on the island.
I want to push you to elaborate a little further because some people may hear in the care of a responsible someone and I may think to myself, right, my eldest child is 15, very, very mature and so on, and I know no matter what. Give us some sense of guidance there in terms of the actual age so persons understand the implications by way of the law.
So what I'm saying again, a person under the age of 18 under the Children's Act is recognized as a child, right? So if you had to do anything, you must be an adult. You must leave that person as a responsible adult. If you're living with a grandparent, a parent, or must be an adult. Even one of your children must be an adult. It must be somebody who you believe will exercise that level of responsibility that you would do, otherwise. Because the fact is, you might leave them in the care of an adult, but the person is not a responsible adult. It may be somebody who may be involved in some kind of criminal activity. Let's say the person is a drug abuser, and you put your children at risk. You have to do your due diligence in terms of treating or assessing the person that you're leaving your child in the care of. And sometimes, notwithstanding that children are in the care of family members, they are also subject to being harmed, because sometimes, many of the time, incidents occurred is somebody who has a closer familial relationship with the child. So we have to be mindful of that. You must know, you must do your due diligence. So the thing about it is that as an adult or a parent, there are things that if you have that gut feeling that, hey, I don't think I should leave, don't do it. And we are just urging because the children are vulnerable, as you know, and they're easily influenced. So you have to be careful, make sure don't leave them with that child and don't leave them with somebody who you think or you believe that would not exercise that level of care with those children.
I want to know in terms of avenues available for the child who may be negatively affected in a situation, who can they reach out to in these circumstances? How should a child treat with an incident, has occurred, as you say, unfortunately, based on who the child may have been left with or so? You probably have raised the matter with your parent, they denying it, because, we still have that unfortunate situation in Trinidad and Tobago. What avenues are available by way of the law for a child in those circumstances?
Well, again, too, if the child raises that issue with a parent, the parent has a responsibility by law to report it to the police. It's not something that you have a choice, you're supposed to. Now, another person the child could relate to, if the child is at school, the child could relate to a teacher. The teacher, again, could bring the information to the police. The law requires certain people, when that information is shared, to make sure and report it. Because if you fail to do so, you could be subject to the sanctions and penalties of the law if found wanting. Right? So these are things that we have to be careful with, because the child or the teacher or some other, let me see, a grandparent or something the child could relate to, as long as the child passes that information on, there's a duty upon you to report it to the authorities. And then we have, in terms of the protection of the child, we have the Children Authority, who is responsible for basically putting things in place for further protection of the child and the welfare of the child going forward.
All right, so I'm glad that you've mentioned that this morning. So every adult, you have to understand, whether you're a neighbor, you're in church, you're a grandparent, you're a family member, if a child has raised a concern with you, it should at least be given the respect to allow due process to take place in these circumstances. What would be the message that you would want to leave before we close this morning's interview as a reminder out there broadly for our parents, guardians, all those who hold responsibility for protecting our children before it even gets to the stage of the TTPS?
You see, what we need to going forward is that we need communication between the adults and children. The responsible adults, I'm talking about parent. Parent need to have that outreach, that level of communication, to break the barriers down between themselves and the children. They need to educate them about certain things that are now happening, in the world. Make them aware of sexual predators. Make them aware of dangers out there of behaving in a particular way. So the police are doing their part. We have the community police unit that is going out to the schools and so on and in the outreach programs. But we need that sort of support from the teachers and the parents out there to also do their part in educating their children about the realities of the dangers which exist in our society today. Right.
All right. So just tell us very quickly as well, contact information. Any of the principals or schools that might be tuning in that you probably haven't reached to as yet might have an upcoming meeting or something that they would want to get the benefit of the, that kind of community policing education. Where can they reach out to?
Well, they can actually reach out to 6394737, that is the Community Police Unit Tobago, or you could call any police station. 6398888 is the Sherburne Road Police Station where the officers are based, or you could reach out to the officer, the Senior Superintendent Tobago. We can direct you as to, where to go in this event that you need the information. And Julian, right now, I just want to take the opportunity also to congratulate our officers who recently got promoted as of Friday. We have about 45 to 50 officers within the Tobago space that were promoted to corporal. I want to congratulate and I want to urge them to continue the good work they have been doing in spite of the challenges. So this is one of the things I want to reach out to also officers who are now in celebratory mode for their achievement over the past week.
All right, indeed. Congratulations and kudos going out there from Tobago. Updates as well for those that are certainly continuing to progress in the service. And we want to thank you very much. Always very calm, cool, and collective, whether you are on set, in studio, dealing with a crisis situation on the outside. prepared to provide the media with the relevant information and to keep us updated so that we can indeed continue to inform you, our viewers and listeners. We want to say thank you very much
Thank you
once
for
again.
having me. Thank you.
Most definitely, Superintendent Rodil Kirk of the TTPS joining us here on set this morning. Viewers, we want to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Bad girl from Roxborough to Tobago, body fuego in your day clothes, I rate you. Grew up around good vibes and incense. Grew up in hard times that intense. Shut it as you're reaching at the dance. Use the topic as you're reaching at the dance. My girl, go and drop it as you're reaching at the dance. Making use of your talents when you balance back on the dance. Yes, yes. I know, baby. You want a man who take you serious, not just beat and leave. You're fed up on the streets. Yes, yes, I know, baby. You want a man who take you serious.
Summerama, real steam for the summer at standard. Is a dream for the summer. Dreamy, steamy, standard. What you have? All the best deals, no drama. Standard be beat like a hammer. Go tell your friend, tell your papa, tell your mama. We got more. Standards of what you're searching for. Quality brand, discounts galore. New things for the summer, online in store. Summertime is here, so make the most out of it at Standard. Never beaten on quality and price. It's nice.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to the morning show on Tobago Updates. I am Adana Combi, and of course we continue conversations with our guests in studio. We are speaking with Miss Ashley Benjamin, and she is an educational psychologist and the founder of Blossoming Minds Educational Institute. Today, of course, we are speaking about Dyslexia Awareness Month 2023. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning and thank you for having me.
Right. So, of course, you know, the conversation about dyslexia is now becoming a little bit more popular, I suppose, because we are commemorating or making awareness available for this month. So people are now becoming aware of what the issue is.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about dyslexia and how do you identify, or how do you, like, if you have a suspicion, what are the things that you look for to have your child assessed?
Okay, so what dyslexia is a specific learning disability that affects speech, writing,
So it's a learning disability that that of course hinders your ability to grasp concepts and stuff like that.
So what this is a learning disability that affects speech, writing, reading, and hearing, as in to manipulate the songs, right? It is hereditary in nature in that once a parent has the learning challenges or learning disability, there's a 40 to 60% chance that the child is going to have, or their offspring is going to have, the dyslexic challenges. Some of the dyslexic challenges are the inability to manipulate songs, identify the songs, and manipulate the songs in such a way that you can formulate the words. So what happens is, at a certain age, you're supposed to be able to have certain phonological awarenesses. At between seven and onwards, you're supposed to have all those phonological awareness or phonological strategies in place so that you can have a fluent reading abilities. You're supposed to be able to blend words and blend letters. So you have at. So if you have that, the identifying individual songs at age 4, 5, you should be able to, at age 6, you should be able to put it all together to formulate the word. You should be able to break up words into syllabications. So you're supposed to hear the song, of rainbow or computer at that 6 or 7. You're also supposed to be able to identify things like, if there's a word family, as we call it, and there's at, and you're bringing different phonemes, so you're putting an M there, the child is supposed to be able to link it to say mat, or link it to say cat. If you put an R, they're supposed to be able to link it. If you have those, if you're seeing those challenges, then you know the child is having some sort of dyslexic issues and there's need for interventions, right? Sometimes the child is able to have a good speech, so you can speak properly, but you can't manipulate the songs that you're hearing to put it into, to format the word on a paper. Those are dyslexic signs. You may have forgetfulness of words or just in content, or disorganization of words. Mixing up of words, reversal, the common one is the P and Q,
Yes.
and 5, S and 2, you'd have those mixed reversal. You'd have omission, where the child is now removing a part of the word. So if the word is remember, the child would now say reba.
Right.
Or you would have the reversal as in look, L-O-O-K. They would say cool, K-O-O-K, K-O-O-L, right? So those are things that you would notice to know, well, okay, the child is having a problem. Even sometimes the child may have difficulty in fluency, difficulties in comprehension. That's because they're so focused on trying to get the words that they're not they're reading to identify the word, but they can't catch the content of what they're reading. So that then there's a problem with comprehension. So those are things that you look for to know if the child is having a challenge.
And how do you get your child assessed? If you identify these challenges with your child, with their learning and reading abilities, or inabilities rather, where do you go? What's the first step in terms of assessing the child to ensure that that is what the problem is and that it's not something else?
Now, I always advise, if you're seeing some of the challenges, I would advise to do a screening first. In that way, that screening, because it's so brief, it's going to tell you if the child is actually experiencing some type of dyslexic troubles. Now, you may just have a problem with blending, but that may not be considered dyslexic. Not every reading challenge is dyslexic. So you start off with a screener. If you're only seeing just a few challenges, if the need be, you go on to an psychoeducational assessment. Now, if you're identifying a challenge and you're seeing the challenges in many different subjects, because what happens also is dyslexia rolls over to dyscalculia, and then you have dysgraphia, which is the handwriting, because it also affects handwriting. So when that happens, you go to an educational psychologist and you can get a full psychoeducational assessment completed, and then all areas of concerns would be identified, and then you can go on with the intervention.
So after the initial screening, or after the identification of these things and they do the screening, then they speak to somebody like yourself who will do a further assessment.
Well, you can go directly to an educational psychologist to do a screening, because it has to be someone who is qualified to do the standardized tests. So you have a concern, you contact an educational psychologist. You set whether it's a brief concern where you would just need a screening to tell you basically, yes, I am seeing these signs. Or you go straight to the educational psychologist. I'm seeing a number of signs. I would like to get my child assessed with a psychoed assessment.
And what type of support is available for children who have this learning disability, or inability rather to learn in the natural way, that's the standardized way?
Well, you're supposed to have the remediation strategy is a multisensory structured literacy program. So you must have someone who is qualified to teach a multisensory program, a multisensory structured program. Then there are also technological aids. There are also adaptations that you can make in the classroom or at home. But in terms of at the classroom level, you can't just go to the teacher and say, Miss, well, my child is having this problem and I would need you to provide the notes in writing. Some of those things can only be asked if there's a diagnosis.
Right.
So in that case, what the parents, there are accommodations that the parent can do at home to help the child to have a smoother process, because dyslexia is hereditary. It is also lifelong, so that they're always going to have the challenge. What you have to do is you have to equip them, and this is where the structured literacy program comes in. You have to equip them with the necessary so that going along their life journey, once the problem arises after, they have the knowledge to help them identify the words.
And I know quite a lot of adults who actually suffer from dyslexic inabilities, and they are living successful lives. They are making impacts in their communities and in their industry. So it doesn't really restrict you in any way whatsoever, as long as you have the right support, right?
Exactly. And because there are so many supportive systems, then you shouldn't, dyslexia should not be a reason why you don't excel.
Right, right. And so we are, acknowledging Dyslexia Awareness Month. Is it this month, October?
Yes, it's the entire month of October.
Okay, and what is happening in our space where this is concerned?
So, on my end, I am reaching out to, because I recently had a seminar with the Rotary Club of Tobago, where they celebrated Literacy Month. And to close off Literacy Month, we would have held a seminar labeled, I believe it was Understanding Dyslexia, where we made persons aware of this is what it is, these are the signs, these are the things that can help. So what I'm planning to do for this entire month, I'm reaching out to principals or any persons who would have constant interactions with children, or they can contact me as well to have seminars. So if you have a PTA meeting and you would like me to come and speak to the parents there, or if you have a staff meeting and you would like me to come and speak to the teachers about the areas to look for and how you can accommodate children with dyslexia, yes, you can contact me at 740-0432, or you can also contact me at blossomingmindei@gmail.com. I am also planning a dyslexic awareness walk, but I am going to
still in the planning process. Yes, still in the planning process. And you said a very important thing there, where you said you're willing to enter schools and have conversations at the PTA level and also at the staff level, because I mean, sometimes as parents we might see some things, but we might be in denial, because at the end of the day, that's my pumpkin, and you're not thinking that your child has any challenges. But if you equip the teacher in the classroom setting to identify things, then they can make the recommendations, and they can have the one-on-one conversation with the parents and advise them as to what will be the next step and stuff like that. I really, really do like that, and I wish you all the very best. I wish this can happen, and I'm speaking to our teachers and our educational system that we really do make the investment in this type of conversation and this type of support for our children as they come up, because as I said, I know that there are people, adults, who have dyslexia, who are living with dyslexia, and who are very successful in their industries, in their businesses, and in the areas that they are as professionals.
Yes, and like this year's theme, it is Stronger Together. And Stronger Together means we need to identify and acknowledge the fact that we are having a reading challenge on the island. Because when you interact with 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds who can't even identify the letters of the alphabet, we have to do something for a better Tobago. We have to acknowledge that this is a challenge. We have to work together, and we have to give persons the necessary tools to help them to succeed.
That's right, because no man is an island, so we all need to support each other. Thank you so much, Ms. Benjamin, for joining us this morning and giving us some insight on the dyslexia situation in Tobago and on the projections for this year and the plans that you have in store and the way we can support each other. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us on the morning show on Tobago Updates. We are going to go to a break, and when we come back, we are going to the entertainment segment. But before we go, of course, we say, share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be back.
Picture this.
He had such a magnificent presence, and his influence over many years has really shaped the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago.
Those words describe Tobago's, and specifically Lake Coto's Victor E. Bruce, who was the first local governor of the Central Bank of Trinidad and Tobago in 1969. Now, listen to this. In 2023, an office was re-established in Tobago where you, yes, you, can visit to lodge complaints in respect of financial services provided by banks and licensed financial institutions. And guess what? The office is housed in the iconic building named after Victor E. Bruce in Market Square, Scarborough. Meaningful, right? That organization is the Office of the Financial Services Ombudsman.
Today is also important because we are opening this office at a time when it is well known that we have some challenges getting between the both islands. And it is actually one of the mandates of the island's government to ensure that we bring a lot more of these services to the Tobago space, which in turn will prevent the need for Tobagonians to journey to Port of Spain to get these services. And so we are happy that the Office of the Financial Services Ombudsman is actually leading the way. We are indeed proud that the Central Bank can come home to Victor E. Bruce in this regard. And I couldn't help, as the governor spoke, about wondering whether Victor E. Bruce himself considered or thought that maybe there will be a day that some of the services of the institution that he was leading for a young nation, a brand new nation, would one day make its way across the shores to his homeland in a building named after him.
We are proud that on this momentous occasion, we are coming back to the roots in a building named after this eminent son of the soil. So I really think this is real, it is symbolic, but it is also grounded in reality.
The Financial Services Ombudsman plays a crucial role in promoting trust and confidence in the financial sector. Our mission is to provide an impartial platform for resolving disputes between consumers and financial service providers.
Services from the Ombudsman will be provided from September 27th and be made available every second and fourth Wednesday in the month from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. free of charge to members of the public.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denicia.
Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region. With the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine, I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds.
The news in 90 seconds is brought to you by Flow, working for you on Tobago's newest fiber network.
Anticipation is building for the reading of the national budget this afternoon. Finance Minister Com Imbert will deliver his 9th budget presentation in Parliament, starting at 1 p.m. Among the items expected in the budget is a change to the minimum wage. It is also expected that the budget might be less than the previous year due to a decrease in revenue from the energy sector. Meanwhile, Chief Secretary Fali Augustine is hoping that the THA will be granted 5% of the national budget instead of a percentage near the minimum allotment of 4.03%. The THA has requested $4.54 billion from central government. In the previous fiscal year, the THA requested $3.97 billion, but only received $2.5 billion, representing 4.3% of the national budget. In some news of crime, Tobago witnessed its 10th murder over the weekend. The latest victim is from Canaan Feeder Road, identified as Rayanne Henry, also known as Lucy. According to police reports, the 39-year-old Henry went to her girlfriend's home on Gaskin Bay Road around 9 p.m. on Saturday. Another woman was present with the girlfriend, and an altercation ensued. Henry was reportedly stabbed several times. She was taken to the Scarborough General Hospital, where she succumbed to her injuries. And finally, the Ministry of Works and Transport has issued a warning to drivers who have unpaid and uncontested traffic tickets from November 2021 to December 2022. Failure to address these tickets may result in administrative sanctions under the Motor Vehicles and Road Traffic Amendment Act. Drivers are advised to check the ministry's website to see if their names are on the list and to take action promptly. And that concludes your news in 90 seconds.
Tobago, after freeness is more speed and better TV. Get a free Samsung smartphone and free installation, plus 200 megabits per second, Paramount Plus, and more for only $299 with a select 200 plan from Flow. Visit online at discoverflow.co today.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, yes, it is budget day right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And while a lot is expected, we have there's a lot of questions, there's a lot of anticipation about what is to come this afternoon. We are going to get into some of those discussions. But before we delve a little bit into budget, we are going to be speaking with Ms. Caroline Butcher-James, who, if you don't know, you should know her by now. She's somebody who has been advocating long and hard for many, many years about the growth and the development of the tourism industry right here in Tobago. And she was recently recognized and awarded the Gold Hummingbird Medal from the government, from the president, on Republic Day. So we're going to be speaking to her a little bit about that first, before we get into our conversations about budget. So special good morning and welcome to you. And of course, I'm going to say here again, congratulations to you. We are indeed proud and happy that you received this award.
Thank you very much, Candice. And it's a pleasure to be here.
Certainly. So first of all, just give us an idea of, when you received the news that you were going to get this award, what was your reactions?
Well, it's my daughter who told me, because all my devices were down, and she rang me and asked me, I'm about 1:30, I'm trying to take a little sleep, and she asked me, Mommy, have you looked at your emails? I said, no, I have my devices down. She said, Mommy, I'll read it to you. Well, I jumped off the bed, and I rang my next daughter in Trinidad. They told us that they wanted us to keep it confidential because they had not sent out the list yet. So there were limited people that you could tell, but we were thrilled and excited. And of course, I started planning, well, what will I wear? As you know, I made my own outfit.
Yes.
So that was 2 weeks of putting this outfit together. And you have to line it and all of that. The cloth was short, so if you notice, the pants is in a little different pattern. We had to send for some more material to make the pants. There were also instructions given as to how you should dress. No strappy straps and no strapless. So you know what that meant, because they have to put a medal on. So that meant you had to be a bit of conservative in how you dress, Yes.
Yes.
And a thrilling experience.
Certainly. And if, like I said at the start, Ms. Caroline Butcher-James has been such a major advocate within our space. And when you look back at just all the things that you have, all the energy that you've put into to try to, make tourism in Tobago as successful as it can be, what when you reflect on that, what do you think about, what your work and what you've been able to do?
Well, this has been an unexpected journey. I don't think I'm in charge. I think God is in charge of this journey. And I think to a certain extent, I have done what I set out to do, which is to educate the people of Tobago and Trinidad about tourism and the wonders of tourism. And also, I was successful in getting the state and the Tobago House of Assembly and the tourism division to listen to some of my suggestions. And one of my biggest accomplishment is the Tobago Tourism Development Fund, which is it is operating out of this Exim Bank, okay, and that is for Tobago tourism operators. It's a state guaranteed fund, and it's for tourism operators to get money to continue their business or to expand their hotel or renovate or whatever it is. And that operates out of the Exim Bank. And the person who is in charge is a Mr. Thomas, and he's actually from Tobago. Yes.
And certainly, again, congratulations to you. And I know that there are some disappointments along the way because Tobago has so much potential. Everybody knows that Tobago has amazing potential to do well, but we haven't gotten there yet. And then when you look back at, just some of the biggest challenges in terms of us being able to really put Tobago on the map and to really put it where it should be, in terms of tourism, what do you think those stumbling blocks are?
Well, I would say we were halfway there. But in 2008, when we changed that Foreign Direct Investment, that Foreign Investment Act, that plunges us into the state that we are in. It was a steady fall after that. You see, while you did not want your foreigners to buy, and that is something that I will always have a problem with, the message that was sent is that you didn't want foreigners. You have to be very careful of your message, that was sent. And that's why we have that steady decline. Bear in mind, we also had about 6 murders with foreigners. So all that also impacted on us to where we are today. Now it's an uphill battle. And we need the money, which we don't have. Okay, so I'm hoping with this budget that we'll get some more money to Tobago so that we could do some more tourism marketing and we can try and attract some more airlines, because that is the crux of the matter. You have to get people in. We have to get people in from Scandinavia. The cycling classic that was yesterday, we had no Europeans. Why? No Condor or KLM for them to connect, to come direct to Tobago. Remember, you're traveling with bikes and whatever it is. You can't be going to Trinidad. When you get there, you can't get up to Tobago. Accessibility from Trinidad. You need a direct flight. So that I'm hoping that things can be better. Alicia Edwards and Atita, I think they're doing an excellent job with the limited funds. But that's the thing. We talk about, and I'm going a little bit into the budget here. Yes. we talk about diversifying the economy, but we don't really mean it. Because one of the best areas is in tourism, and that's not only for Tobago, that also goes for Trinidad. They have a lot of tourism things, their turtles and all of that, and we in Tobago here with our Buku Reef, our Nylon Pool, our blue food, and the scenery going up to Charlottesville and our soft adventure in the rainforest and so on. So we have a lot of potential, but you're not putting the money in it for us to really diversify. 8,000 foreigners coming for the year, and we had foreign exchange that we couldn't spend. We had to send that money to Trinidad. We had so much foreign exchange. So think about if we can get up back, at least we can make that a benchmark to get up back there. You see, so diversification must not only be in talk, has to be in action. We watch everything. Our gas and our oil, we're having problems with it. The Dragon Field, the Americans have that under tight control. Venezuela cannot sign anything, and we need a Dragon Field to continue with our gas explorations and whatever it is. We have Guyana across there. That is a new kid on the block and growing as we speak. So therefore, you need to be very serious about your diversification and so on. And this is where Tobago come in with the agriculture and all of that.
And now we're going to get into a bit more of those discussions. But I just wanted to ask you, just before we get there, you know, what really drew you into this industry? Why is Carolyn Birchwood James? Why did she become such a formidable force and an advocate here?
1989, 1990, I think maybe a little earlier than that, we bought 100 acres in Cove Estate. And where we have Cano Bay Beach Resort, that's 56 acres. And my husband started, he called a tractor in and started bulldozing and so on. So I asked him, boy, what it is you're doing? You know, what plans you have for here? Charming and building a beach facility. And so he built a beach facility. We had to go and find approval and whatever it is after. And after we had that for a number of years, the natural progression was for us to do a hotel. All right. So our bankers, they gave us the money to do that. And after we started operating, I joined the Hotel Association. And after about 6-7 years there, I felt that I could have been president. So when they had the next election, I told the president I was outgoing, I would like to be president. Okay. We sent out the word. They voted me on the board. And when they decided who was president, I put up my hand and looked at everybody to see who is going to define me to be president. And that's how I came to be. I was never on the board or anything like that. But when I did that, okay, well, let's hear what the president had to say. I pulled out my purse and I had a 10-point plan already written as to what I would like to do as president to enhance the association and also to enhance the offerings of the tourism sector and to teach, because you know I'm a teacher by profession, and to teach people about how the tourism works, the airlift works, how we get airlines and so on. So that's how I came into this. And as I said before, I don't think it's I can't tell you why I felt I wanted to be president. It just came to me. So God is in charge.
Certainly. And I don't think when we think about tourism here in Tobago, we don't think about, you're one of those people that is at the forefront, and it would look very different if you were not there.
Well, I'm no longer on the board because I asked them,
Certainly,
you have to step back and you have to let others take the lead. You're not going to be there forever. And, you know, there are other things that I want to do because, you know, I also do my fashion line with the cruise ship season that is coming in. And I also supply 2 boutiques, one in Tobago and one in Trinidad, with some of my pieces. So I'm very busy. I'm very busy with that. But I'm still in the tourism sector. You know, my daughter runs a hotel now. I don't do too much of that. But I'm still in the hotel, the tourism sector. And it's a great source of foreign exchange. And I want to tell you this. Over the weekend, when we went for the award, my son and my daughter, we stayed in a hotel in Trinidad. And when I went to pay the bill, when I went to check in, all right, she asked me how I'm paying. I told her I have my US dollars with me. My sister sent money for me. So I have my US dollars and everything. And when we sell there, so I have euros. They tell me that they do not take cash. I said, what? This is a government, majority-owned hotel. What? Are you all crazy? No, we don't take cash. I said, so we talking about lack of foreign exchange and you not taking cash in this hotel? Well, go and tell your supervisor, I'm here. I have no other way of paying this. So eventually, yes, they took the cash. But they said next time they wanted to come with no cash. We are cashless. But how do we want to earn foreign exchange? Think about 100 people like me come to you and you tell them you prefer a credit card instead of the cash that I am bringing. You know, so we a little weird as to how our message is going. If we are short of foreign exchange, then we have to, our government agencies need to take the foreign cash. At least to take the US and the euros and the pounds.
And
you
the
know?
dogs, yes.
Yes.
I mean, certainly a lot to consider. But we're going to get into those conversations in just a bit. We're going to take a quick break, and we will return with Miss Caroline Birchwood James. So don't go anywhere.
The energy fill the skies.
Mount Pleasant Credit Union Back to School Loan Promotion. Loans up to 15,000. Requirements: job letter and a payslip no more than 1 month old. Utility bill, copy of book list, salary deduction, 10% down payment for self-employed persons, evidence of income and expenditure, bank statement, 12 to 18 months, other supporting document. Promotion ends October 18. Contact us at 639-8375 or 8108 or check us out on www.mpcutobago.com or email us at loan@mpcutobago.com. Mount Pleasant Credit Union's Back to School Loan Promotion.
So your car break down
Oh, no, not again.
and you're worried paying a wrecker could mean a pocket breakdown too. But when you're insured with Tatil, no stress.
Yes!
A Tatil motor policy has lots of benefits that protect your pocket, like free roadside assistance that's free 24/7 every time, as many times as you need. Tatil, where people are people. A member of the Ansa Macal Group.
Inner Health, number 13B, Portmore, Scarborough, Tobago, with over 25 years experience offering services in and not limited to microscopic blood analysis, reflexology, and the sale of a wide range of organic herbal products used to supplement thyroid, lymphatic, heart, kidney, and brain health, and the male and female reproductive systems. Come and chat with us. Remember, your health is your wealth.
But this place is boring enough. We don't even do nothing. Let me go somewhere now.
I really want some new things, yes?
Then look no further. Portmore is the place for you.
Oh, really?
Yes, you can have anything that your heart desires. Take a look for yourselves. A world of endless opportunities. Feeling hungry? Go get something to eat. Books and stationeries, games, and much more. Portmore, the island's beat.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversations this morning with Gold Hummingbird medal winner, I should say, or awardee, I should say, Miss Caroline Birchwood James. It's such an honor and a pleasure to have her with us. Now, we're going to move away from the award conversations into the budget conversations for the rest of the hour.
Yes.
And, you know, we're talking tourism here. It was just very interesting that whenever diversification, that conversation about diversification comes up, whether it is with Finance Minister Carl Imbert or Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, there's always a bit of a skepticism about it. There's a bit of reluctance to give it that attention it deserves or that political will that it deserves. We have so many times we've heard that we continue to depend on the energy sector because it is sure money. And not just sure money, it brings in quite a bit of revenue for us here in Trinidad and Tobago. So to diversify may not, in their opinion, may not be the best option. But yet all the economists and so on are saying that we need to. And then here in Tobago, tourism has that potential to contribute quite a lot of much needed foreign exchange dollars right now.
Well, what I want to say is, I lost my train of thought for a minute. But listen, it's education. When you look at places like Paris and London, okay, and even New York, it's visitors all over the place. They look forward to their visitors. When you walk down the Champs, it's visitors spending money, going to the Louis Vuitton shop, that each handbag is 3,000 US and all that kind of a thing. Okay, it is tourism. They have They have gas and oil. They also have manufacturing and all the other things in our economy, because these are big economies, but they still look forward to their tourism. Paris, I think, makes the most money from tourism in the world. Paris, okay? Everybody going down there to Paris and walk on the Sham and go to see the Eiffel Tower and visit on the Seine and the food and the whatever it is. Okay? So the same thing goes in New York. You go to New York in July, August, Lord, it's hot, and there are a lot of people. You go on the train and people speaking all kind of different languages and so on. And that is only New York. What about London? Changing of the guards and whatever it is, and people shopping and so on. So it's not something to discount. Every country makes money from tourism, whether it's Iran, Iraq, whatever it is, whatever is a desert tourism or whatever it is. And it's a great source of foreign exchange. But we have to get serious about it. We have to. Why? Our gas and oil is dwindling. How many barrels that we were getting 10 years ago? We're getting about 10,000 less a day right now. Okay, our gas reserves is dwindling. Hence, we have Point Lisas. Many plants in there almost shut down. Shut down some of them. You see, because we don't have enough gas to supply all our industries. We praying and hoping for this dragon field that we know the Americans have us and Venezuela in a stranglehold. That's how they operate, mash up your economy and so on. So that we have to look at viable options. And beside the manufacturing, okay, one of the great things is this tourism. And we have to push it. People are going to be coming for Carnival in Trinidad, Carnival here in October. And they're going to be walking with US dollars or pounds or euros or whatever it is. Okay, whichever carnival you choose. And you need to encourage that. And you need to encourage events like our cycling classics. They are coming. They're coming to stay in our hotels. They're going to be eating our food and so on. So the amount of activities like our cycling classic is what we need. But we are hampered here because our airlift. Right now, we only have British Airways. I think we have Condor coming in later down in the year. But we do need an airlift from Scandinavia, and we need more of those.
I mean, and as somebody who has been involved with these conversations and in terms of trying to get these airlift here to Tobago, what do we need from the government to make it happen? Because there's only so much that the THA can do in terms of, the permissions, etc. So I just wanted to enlighten us as to what we really need from the government to be able to get some of these things off the ground.
Well, the first thing is that we need a Tobago, I love Tobago government, let me put it like that, where they will say yes to a lot of things that will be aiding our development and that we will not get problems. For example, let's go a little bit, that quarry up there, I understand they have not got their quarry license.
No, they have not. License yet.
Right, okay. Now, that is a foreign exchange earner. People can come, they pull a barge up and get their boulders or whatever it is. But why it is a state entity have to have problems to get a license? Is it that we're not complying with the regulations? These are the if so, then say so. So the public, the Tobagonian public, will know exactly what is going on here. But to us, it's a glaring case of some kind of a thing. We don't know what it is. We don't want to say what we think it might be. A glaring case of why we don't have a license. Now, it's almost the same thing with the airlift. Okay, first thing we need is an airlift committee. I saw last week, Wednesday, there was a transport bill. I'm not sure what I get from the transport bill. I'm trying to see what exactly they want to do, but there's no specifications, there's no specifics as to what this transport company is about, more than they say it's going to be about transport for Tobago. Well, listen, if you're dealing with buses, it's far different than what you want to deal with when it comes into airlift. Yes. You need an airlift committee specific. And we have people who were trained to be part of an airlift committee. So you don't have to go far. We have people trained to do that. All right? But the airlift committee is what you need. And then you can have your transportation division who are going to deal with your buses I understand they talk about the maxi taxi where you have to get your license in Trinidad. That's a no-go. Hand it over to Tobago where they know the drivers and their people, and they will know who to give a license to or not. They are intimately involved in the people. They know their people. Yeah. So I'm not sure exactly what they want to do with this transport bill. But then you have civil aviation that you're going to have to deal with civil authority, what do you call it, airport authority, yes. and so on. So you have to apply to all of these. You see, so you have to have a I love Tobago attitude when it comes to these things where you have to get permission from Trinidad. And there's where our autonomy comes in.
So are we seeing that I love Tobago attitude from the government?
Sometimes. Sometimes. But you see, in my experience, whenever you have opposing parties, that's where the problem lies.
How do we get past that? How do you get past that towards the development of Tobago and Trinidad as well? Because if we start thinking beyond the politics and we start thinking about the economy and the people and so on, I mean, all that it just benefits everybody all around.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to pass that. You see this, but you look at the scenario that we are in here. We have a 14-1 party, or whatever they want to call themselves. Okay, now running the Tobago House of Assembly. Mm-hmm. That's a very strong mandate, and therefore that is not going to change. And you have a different party running the central government. And whether they like it or not, they have to collaborate. When we had the meeting with Mr. Augustine, talking about the connection.
Yeah, the inter-island transportation.
Right, okay. And this is what I said. This is time for us to lower the rhetoric. The time for the rhetoric is gone until next elections. Mm-hmm. Right now, you have 60,000 people who are depending on you and to develop this island. You have to talk to yourself. Lower the rhetoric and raise the diplomacy. High diplomacy is what you need. And you have to swallow your spit like what your mother would have said, whatever you feel, because your 60,000 people is depending on you, and you have to talk to the Prime Minister. You have to write him. He don't have to answer. You tell your people you wrote and he didn't answer. Next month you write again. You like to have a meeting. By the time you tell your population he didn't answer the third or fourth time, I'm sure the Prime Minister will get the message. It's politics you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay? And they want to win the elections, and the way they see it, they have 2 seats there. They're not sure what is going to happen. Okay? So they want to make friends. Okay? So but the ball is in, I would say, the Chief Secretary court. Yes, you are the smaller man. Let's put it like that. But the ball is in your court. You have your people to see about. So you cannot worry about the Prime Minister saying he don't think he want to talk to the Chief Secretary by himself and all that kind of a thing. He could afford to talk that, but you can't afford to talk that because your people are dependent on you. And that is that kind of maturity is what we need in Trinidad and as well as Tobago. It's the same with the crime talks in Trinidad. It's maturity that is needed, not one-upmanship. Who is better than who? And I know she wouldn't listen to me. She wouldn't want to talk to me. Or I know he wouldn't come and talk. No. We see what happened in the last few days. A rape infant. Infant is what she is. Killed because she reported. We have reached a different, I can't say a high. I have to say a low. I lied on my bed. So they come and rape your daughter, your child, and you can't go to the police. That's the message that is being sent. Every parent is terrified because look at what it is. And not only that, you try to wipe out a whole family in doing that. You have 4 children, you shoot 9 people, 4 dead. A woman who was once sane is now a crazy woman. Doctor's going to have to be injecting her every minute because that's what you have. That's the reality of what you have there. Okay? You have now, they have gone to a different level. You have to come and start talking. Whether you're going to start hanging, whether whatever it is you have to do, I don't know. I listened to our commissioner of police when the 4 children were killed. She sent a communique. I want to know, where's her training? And I'm saying this diplomatically. Where's her training? You have to be down where the heights of Guanapo is where it is. You have to be there with the 2 henchmen that have to look like that.
Yeah.
Because you have to let people know this is serious business here. And you have to let them know, whoever did this, we want you dead or alive. We are getting you. While you have that, you have about 100 soldiers crawling all over the place until we find them. And you start walking door to door, talking to the woman, and let them know 4 children are still here. Your next 4 might be yours. Just tell us a name. Just tell us a nickname. We're going to find them. You see how the Americans do it? We are going to find whoever is the killer. No, you stay in your office and you send a communique. Come on, man. Come on. You see? And this is the kind of inaction that takes away from the greatness of our country. You know? And I want to say this. Unless all this diversification and this tourism, unless we control that crime, because that's all you could never eliminate crime, but you could control it. Unless we control it, we are in plenty problems. Now we have our 10th murder. Right? The person who is not dead, I know her very well. She's a fisherwoman. Very enterprising girl. I lie in my bed. How did she get to that? You're now in the station. Right? Everybody will tell you that. Very enterprising, no nonsense woman. And there it is. You know, one is in a mortuary. 2 strong women from Tobago. One in a mortuary and one in the jail. You know, it's a very, very, very sad state of affairs. Some little misunderstanding or whatever it is could reach to this stage. You understand? And Tobago, we can't lose those 2 women. Right? We're struggling for population here. And especially when you have enterprising people.
Yes.
You know, so that all these things I think about as we try, because I now have grandchildren, right? And my biggest grandson, he's 25. He's an accountant. And I have the other 2, 22. And after that, I have two teenagers in France and some little ones from 2.5 go right on to about 10. So, and they like Tobago. Their parents like Tobago. They want to live here. It's nice, it's quiet, the sea breeze, everything. And what's our future? You see, this and so on. So this crime, and now we have about 10 murders, I said, this crime situation is not going to augur well for foreigners, for our local guests who come to Tobago, and for us who want to live here.
Yes.
You understand me?
I mean, if we are not comfortable, then it's difficult for us to make it comfortable for our visitors.
Well, yes, because people are looking at this 10. We never had that kind of numbers in Tobago. So we are very uneasy.
Yes.
We are all very uneasy. You see?
Now, some analysts are saying that, you know, perhaps this budget might be the budget where crime is the focus, just because of what's been happening in our country. What do you want to see in terms of the investments that we need to make to get crime under control?
I would say that we need to put a lot of money in intelligence and technology. And you see this thing called this facial recognition that is controversial. I think they have a thing called Clear AI. I think we need some of that, because the facial recognition will allow us to recognize faces. That's what they use when they have World Cup and all those Olympics and whatever it is. Yes. People don't know facial recognition. So if you were a bad girl somewhere, you are already on the system, the AI system. And when they pan the crowds and whatever it is, the facial recognition, they're going to recognize you. I'm not sure if we have laws fit with this AI and so on, okay? But I think we're doing a lot of work with artificial intelligence. So we need that. We need the artificial intelligence, and we need the ground intelligence. You want to tell me a man comes, or whoever it is, how many come and shoot 4 children dead, and we don't know who it is? We must know. We have to know. Have to know. And who came and shoot this girl, whether it's a rapist or we don't know. But our intelligence would tell us that. And if we have to wait until 27 years with Tupac, I was in New York when Tupac died.
Yeah.
I was in New York, I go to all the stores, everybody crying and moaning and whatever it is. Yeah, people were just, you know, they were so sad. 27 years to bring one of the killers in front of the judge. We don't know how that's going to pan out. Okay? So we need that. We need forensics. We need proper forensics. I remember some years ago, I don't know if you remember, Kim Kardashian, they came and stole from them, tie up and stole from them in Paris.
Yes.
Okay. One of the men ripped this necklace she had on her neck with a cross and in running, dropped it. That's all the authorities wanted. They picked up the DNA from that necklace. And that's how they found the gang. That man was a 65-year-old man. And they found the gang. So we need the forensics. Okay?
And that's certainly something that is
yes.
lacking
So
in a lot of our
your
investigations.
artificial intelligence with your
Yes.
facial recognition, your on-the-ground intelligence, and your forensics is what is going to get us out. And of course, plain policing and so on is what is going to get us out of this system. And of course, you must have a commissioner that is serious, that is no nonsense, that is going to push back and is going to, there must be some fear in your criminal. You know, okay, you do your thing, we will do ours, in the sense that we are going to get you, we are going to find you, and whether we have to bring you in dead or alive, because that's what we have to talk about now. If you could watch 4 children and shoot them, 9 children and shoot them, and 4 dead, then we have to start to talk about whether we should be bringing you in dead or alive, kind of a thing. You see?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to have to pause the conversation right there, but don't worry, viewers, we've got a lot more coming up for you with Miss Caroline Butcher James on the program. So don't go anywhere.
Passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor, to wake up and hear me neighbor.
Welcome to Limage Parfait Day Spa, your urban oasis and wellness center. Our services includes massages, treatments, facials, pedicures, weight management, detox programs, and much more. Call us today at 624-1452 or 720-7474. Trinidad locations and Bonacore, Tobago at 273-7772. Let us treat you like the VIP you are.
Rotisserie, mouth-watering fries, salads, combos, and specials galore. Feeling for something to eat? Come and see. Our rotisserie is seasoned to the T. Kicking chicken, masala, and jerk roast. Crispy fries made from scratch. Who do you know can beat that? Or salads freshly cut and packed. When you taste it, you'll be wanting to come back. So come check us out on number 2 Robinson Street, Uptown Scarborough, Tobago. We open on Saturday nights from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Monday to Thursday, we're open from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. and on Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Contact us at 772-7443 and all social media handles at The Rotisserie Factory.
updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversations this morning with Miss Caroline Birchwood James as we look ahead to what's going to happen this afternoon. And there's so much anticipation building, and there's so many questions as well within our space. And I mean, I want to get into some of the other discussions about for the budget. Now, there's also the questions about whether or not changes will be made to, let me see, the electricity rates and so on, because we had the IRC Commission, they did their thing and they've submitted their report to the government and so on, and then it's now up to the government to act on those things. There are changes, there's expected to be some conversation about the property tax, which I don't think we've really gotten into that conversation here in Tobago so much. I mean, it was quite a big topic on the election campaign trail, but it's going to affect us here in Tobago and so on, and especially the tourism sector. So I want to know from you, just from being in the tourism sector, how will the implementation of the property tax affect you guys, and have you been a part of those conversations yet?
We have not been part of the conversation. Our last conversation was a few years ago when they started, and they told us that they're not sure how they are going to calculate the property tax for the tourism plants, the hotels, guest houses, okay? And I don't think we have got an update after that. What they have done is doing the residences.
Yes.
Okay, because I got notification and so on that they received my application and all of that. So that we are not sure, but I'll tell you this. A lot of my hoteliers cannot pay any exorbitant property tax. In fact, they can't pay anything else. They are swamped with their water rate that accumulated, and especially during the pandemic. They are swamped with their electricity rate and the excess capacity that the THA tried to help some of them. They are swamped with efforts to renovate their properties. They need money for their day-to-day operations and to pay salaries, as well as to pay their banks. So if you add increased electricity rates that they have a problem with, and property tax, we have a recipe for no progress. In fact, people might just lock their doors, as though some people have done already. Remember, you don't have a bumper number of people coming to the island, except for certain times when you have a local tourism.
And I want to put this into perspective as well, because a lot of people think that it's just a pandemic that's affected the tourism sector, but it actually goes a lot further than that, perhaps a decade and a half before the pandemic of continuous decline.
That's right. Well, I think that my tourism people are a resilient bunch, because I don't know how we survive. It's the truth. I don't know how we survive and pay workers and all of that. I just don't know how we do it. But the government has to be careful what exactly they are doing in this particular budget. People are suffering. A lot of people are suffering. Okay? I go in the grocery. What I used to buy before, I cut it down to half. All right? So I stopped buying orange juice and all that because I have lime and so on. So I'm making lime juice and that kind of a thing. So, and I have limes. So that they have to be careful what they're doing. People are suffering. I understand that they want to raise the minimum wage.
Yes.
Which is a good thing, but you have to be careful. If you raise it too high, then proprietors can't pay. Okay, employers can't pay. All right. If you leave it as it is, or you raise it too low, it's not a living wage. You see, so that I hope that they understand what is going on in society. I hope they're not going to be doing anything with the fuel. No maneuver with the fuel. Because how are parents going to be paying for the taxi when the taxi is going to raise the price of the fare? And my car that used to take $200 to full it is now taking $350. You see, and that could barely last for the week. So I think that the government needs to be very, very careful what they are doing. You have an election in another 2 years, 2025, I think. You have another election in 2025. You have a one in 2021 that the government party lost, that they want to regain. So I hope that they are thinking of all these things, and you need the country to progress, and you have to watch your crime. So I hope that they are thinking of all these things as they give the budget today. Mind you, the person who in the ministry who is writing the budget is the next girl from Tobago who got the award for the public service, the gold, Miss Enid Zephyrin. So she told us she was busy, helping to write the budget, a retired public servant. But so we face a lot of things in this country here, and I would say some innovation, some new ideas is needed.
Certainly.
And this is where the consultation with the people need to be done. I saw the UNC, they have gone to a few places and they have consultation. I know that, I'm not sure if this year they did it with us, but we used to go down to Trinidad to the Ministry of Finance and have consultations with the Minister of Finance and his team as to what we would like to see. Many times they don't take us on. It's only a talk shop.
Yes.
But at least they
was
know,
something.
Yes, they know what the population is thinking. I don't know if anybody went down to do anything like that this year. But we have some serious challenges in this country. And this country is a great country. And the carbons that we have make us much more comfortable than others. But I think it's a management.
Yes.
You
now,
see?
When you're looking at, I think the central bank put out a statement recently stating that our economy grew by 3% in the first quarter of the year. And I am expecting, I guess it's safe to assume that the Minister of Finance is going to, start off his presentation on that aspect. Because if you look at how he has started his presentations off in previous times, he likes to take those little nuggets and go. But, even when he talks about that 3% growth, that's an isolated figure when you compare it to what's happened in the last few years and the fact that we continue to be in a deficit budget. And our economy has declined so much over several years, and not just over the pandemic period, which affected the whole entire world, but previously. Do you think that Minister Imbert would be a bit more realistic in terms of the outlook for the budget?
Well, you have to understand where that 3% growth came from. And that 3% growth came from increase in oil prices.
Yes, it did. It did.
It's not anything that we did. This is increase in oil prices with the demand and so on. I understand that the price per barrel will be between 93 and 95 as we speak. So that's where we get our 3%.
And funny enough, at a time when we have a decline in oil production.
Well, this is this, and this bears the fact that when you close down Petrotrin, was it a well thought of thing? And now you have, because you have to use, all right, you watch your wages and whatever it is. You said you were running at a loss. How much money you think? But you now have to use your foreign exchange to buy fuel. All right? And you have a plant there rusting. You have mothball a plant. And everybody in business know it's easier to do a turnkey operation if you want to sell your plant. Okay, you want to sell it, but it's mothball. But if you had a turnkey operation, it might have been easier. Right now you have it there rusting. You offer it to Guyana. They say no, they want to build their own refinery. They don't want yours, and so on. So you wonder. You wonder if closing down that refinery made good economic sense, looking at where we are. We have to import all this fuel, and we have to have foreign exchange to import it, and the amount of cars and industries and whatever it is. We haven't heard the UNC, the opposition, say what they will do with that plant. We haven't heard from them either. Okay, whether they will leave it mothball if they win or whatever it is. But real growth is what you have to concentrate on. and what the minister is going to have to concentrate on. Yes, it's good to talk about the positives, so the 3% growth, but how did you get it? Would you get it? Would your 3% occur next year? 4%, 5% next year? Like what's happening in Guyana? Okay.
And as you mentioned, and we're going to end here. But I mean, as you mentioned, Guyana, a lot of people are not realizing that Guyana is actually growing its tourism product, investing in its tourism product just as quickly as it's investing in its energy sector, and it's growing everything else.
Well, because they're doing a diversification. Look at this cricket carnival. Look at it. This cricket carnival, and for the next 3 CPL finals, they have signed to host the event.
Yes.
The next 3 CPL finals, and they have a cricket carnival with it. And investors are coming, okay? Because Guyana has been winning a lot of tourism awards.
Yes, they have.
Because of their natural beauty, and you remember the part of Amazon and
because,
so on.
I mean, if we pay attention to how the world and tourism is changing, we're more focused on eco-friendly types of tourism, and it's left to be seen whether or not the government would lead the action where that's concerned.
Well, this is it. You see, you have to, when you make this excessive amount of money, you need to invest it.
Yes.
For your future, which is what you have in Saudi and all of those with their wealth fund. So they could buy players, and what they're going to be doing is when you want to see a good football game with top footballers, you're going to have to come to Saudi. You know that's what it's all about. Okay, but what I want to say is that I'm hoping that they will do something with this Foreign Investment Act. I hope so. I also hope that we have a new cargo ferry, because it affects us in the tourism and in our whole economy in Tobago. You see. And let me also say this. The Caribbean Airlines, we have to find some way with Caribbean Airlines that they could understand that you need to pay attention to Tobago more. We like you being to Cuba and to Dominica, but we also want you to pay a little more attention to Tobago. Come and talk with us. That flight, people are sleeping in the airport, or foreigners are sleeping in the airport, you'd have to find another hotel. That midnight flight, bring it back. Put that flight to New York on the system. These are the kind of things that we need to do. And I made a suggestion about our standing committee. So I hope that we can implement that, and I hope that we will smile with Mr. Imbert when we hear the budget today.
Certainly hope so. All right, viewers, I want to thank you so much, Ms. Caroline Butcher-James, for joining us this morning. Such a pleasure having this conversation with you. And we're looking forward to what's going to happen this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Candice. A pleasure to be here. And the people of Tobago, I thank you.
All right, well, viewers, yes, we've got a jam-packed day planned. Of course, look forward to the newscast this afternoon at 6:30. We'll be bringing to you the budget live, and we have budget discussions as well afterwards. So you're certainly going to want to look forward to that. So our newscast is going to be before national newscast. So you want to get into that, and then straight into budget conversations as we analyze what's being presented by Finance Minister Com Imbert. But until then, we've got brunch coming up at 10. So you're going to want to get connected with that this morning as we move on through the day. All right, so happy viewers, have a wonderful, safe, and productive day, and we will see you again tomorrow.
We are people.